Well, hello, Catherine here. I am just outside of Boulder, Utah, here at the Boulder Mail Trailhead, getting ready to set out on a trip in Death Hollow. I did a trip here back in 2018 and I've wanted to come back ever since. Joining me on this trip is Bryan DeLay. We are either going to make this a 2-night or 3-night trip. We haven't decided yet, but we do know that we want to take our time. It's a little windy today. The wind gusts are expected to go upwards to potentially 40 miles per hour. It hasn't been that bad yet. And there is a slight chance of some thunder showers. There are some ominous looking clouds around. But we do expect good weather for the rest of the trip, and we're just ready to get started. So let's go.
We would need to traverse open fields of slick rock before reaching Lower Death Hollow, a canyon of sheer Navajo sandstone cliffs and a gorgeous perennial stream containing deep pools and small cascades. It is so far one of my favorite places in southern Utah.
We're going to stop here and have a little lunch break and fill up on some fresh water from the creek. I'm actually thankful for the breeze we've had today because it would feel quite a lot warmer if we didn't have that. What are you looking for? There's a pretty view of Sand Creek down below. We have made it into Death Hollow, and Bryan is doing his first water crossing. We have found a great spot for tonight. Actually, Bryan found it. We went downstream a little ways looking for the same spot that I camped at in 2018, but we could not find it, so we turned around and came back here. It's really beautiful. These red walls all around us, sun shining, hitting this one over to my left, and this is going to be a sweet place to sleep for the evening. Yeah, Coyote Gulch, you don't have that poison ivy like this.
Oh no?
No. I'd say it's definitely an easier trail.
Whatever it is that's beat my legs to death.
Oh, sticks and stuff.
Yeah, whatever. This all down in here. Alright, get you off my back.
Yeah. Those are no fun. And your stove weighs less because you use an alcohol stove.
That's a new pot. But I've never thought about going to a smaller pot because my stove wouldn't fit down in it. So I got like a $20 off.
This one doesn't take 2 cups of water. It takes 1 1/3.
Inflation.
Good morning. It is day 2. It's a beautiful sunny day already. Birds are singing. It's nice and warm. It was actually nice and warm last night. Time to get some breakfast and coffee going and get ready for another day. We are on the trail.
This is poison ivy and it's everywhere here. So we have to try to avoid it. are going great. It's a little bit slow going, trudging through water and sand. And right now it's time to take a lunch break. We found a pretty sweet spot for a lunch break. This is where we'll be having lunch. Got my tent set up. I had to use some rocks. This is very soft sand and we've had some wind. It's very hot setting this up. The sun was just blazing. So I just threw everything in there. It just now got shaded. So I'll reorganize shortly.
After 4 days of this, it'll be hard to imagine life without sand. It's everywhere.
Morning, Brian.
Good morning, Catherine.
What do you think of the trip so far?
You know, this is only the second time I've ever backpacked in Utah. And my first trip was in the early 90s in Zion Canyon. But this is different than anything I have ever done in my life. I mean, just being in this canyon, these tight walls, and I mean, there's half the time it's either in the creek or in the poison ivy. So it's just, I don't know, it's just absolutely amazing. The scenery is these rock walls, the colors in the rock walls, it's just something I've never really experienced before.
Even though it looks like we are hiking in ankle to knee-high water most of the time, we have come across these very deep pools that would really require you to swim. had to stop here for lunch. This was one of my favorite spots of the trip when I came here 2 years ago. I could spend the entire day right here.
This is where things get exciting. The canyon narrows substantially and the pools deepen. We must crawl under a low rock overhang and hug the wall, finding gripping points in order not to slide into the pool. Although we wouldn't die if we fell in, our bodies and gear would take a swim. Even in warm temperatures, we run the risk of hypothermia in the deep, shaded canyon. Unfortunately, I didn't get a shot of the crawl on this trip, but here's what it looks like from my trip in 2018.
Talking to Coach back here.
Good morning. It is day 4 and our last day on the trail.
All right, we have reached the Escalante River. are about 1.5 miles into our hike here on our last day, day 4, following the Escalante River back to the town of Escalante, where my rig is staged, and we will have to go pick up Bryan's car at the Boulder Mail Trailhead. This hike was as beautiful as I remembered it from 2 years ago. We had some really awesome campsites. It was very nice to take my time coming through here this time, and it's been awesome, but it's not over yet. We still have about 5 miles ahead of us before we get to the town of Escalante. Well, that is going to be a wrap on this trip to Death Hollow. It was an incredible time. I want to thank Bryan for joining me. Bryan also has a YouTube channel. I will link his channel below. Check it out. He's also going to make a video of this trip. What did you think of the trip overall, Bryan?
Amazing.
Yeah?
The beauty was unbelievable. I've never done anything like this in my life. It's only the second time I've ever backpacked in Utah. The first time was in Zion Canyon in the early 90s. It was nothing like this. Just incredible beauty.
I agree. It was awesome. Well, until next time, we will see you on the next one. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.